Good day, Ozark Electric Cooperative. We're in April, and the first thing that I want to say about April is that around here in the co-op world for Ozark Electric in our region, we're tracking weather. Spring storms come, they get after us, and so we take care of making sure that trucks are in great shape, material is and inventory is at the highest level that we can get, and so that we can take care and respond to those things. When that's happening, use our phone lines, the features that you have on your apps, and to inform us and let us know those things are happening. Especially if you see damage, that's a priority for us. If you're driving around and you've got a broken pole or downed lines, obviously stay away from that stuff. View it from afar, report it to us, because when we hear from you guys, and you're our best responders, really. You can hear, you saw a flash, or you heard a noise, or you saw it fall down. Tell us where that stuff is at, and it helps us respond that much quicker. Get the appropriate materials that we need to take care of that stuff. We also celebrate our linemen in April. April is Lineman Appreciation Day, which is going to be April 8th. That night, we're going to showcase our linemen and what they do to take care of your system at our Co-op 101. That's at 6 p.m. It will be here in Mount Vernon. And so some of those things that we'll talk about and some of the things that happen in April and even in May with storms, there's lightning, there's heavy winds, there's driving rain. They still go out and take care of the lines during that. We don't wait till the last flash of lightning happens. It's not the baseball or football rules for our sporting events. You see one, you postpone things until you're free of that for 10 minutes or half an hour or an hour. They go out and they take care of that. And so be thinking of them, pray for them if that's what you do. They appreciate that for their safety, so that they can return back to their families and everything can go smoothly and we can restore power. That's the priority, is their safety. And so keep that in mind when those storms come rolling through. You have guys that are devoted to going out and taking care of that, putting themselves in harm's way to make sure that the lights come back on. They've been doing it for decades. They will continue to do that. So just have a kind word for them when you encounter them. There are rock stars around here. We appreciate them. They inspire so many of us with their dedication and devotion to what they do. So on top of Lineman Appreciation Day and being part of what we do to think of them, we should do that more than just April. Keep them in mind all the time if you can, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is April's here. We made an announcement back in the winter, and then first of the year, our rate adjustment is going to be happening. It's taking effect April 1, and the introduction of those new rates will be rolling out. Now, I want to share with you a couple of questions, some frequent things that I've run into since we made those announcements that I want to, kind of address. And mainly it's in the kilowatt demand and understanding how that works. That's always been in the electric industry, from wholesalers, from our G&T, from our suppliers, to bill us for demand. We didn't have the capability and technology to do that on the residential level up until recently. So what we had to do is we had to put out a kilowatt hour rate that would kind of help capture that in the aggregate over our entire system to take care of that billing demand and peak demand that I would need to pay to KMO. Now that we have that technology, it gives us a more accurate way to make sure that each person is paying what they're using and not the aggregate cost across all residential, commercial, small commercial, industrial, all those things. And even in the residential class, a neighbor might have a 20 kW, you might have a 10, but in the past we would try to put that together, and I would try to create a kilowatt hour rate that would capture all of those things. Now the 10 kW is going to be decoupled from the 20 kW, and there'll be individual billing available for that. One of the things that in the capture of that kilowatt demand, I think one of the things that's being misunderstood is that you're understanding that that capture is in that 15 minutes. And maybe you hit 15 kW. We have some folks that are understanding or thinking that you only hit that 15 kW that one time in that 30-day cycle. That's true, but here's the other part of it. Throughout the rest of the 30 days, you have unfettered access to 14.9, 14.9, 14.9, 14.9. And so you have the ability to go and ask us to deliver, and you're demanding that we deliver that amount of energy and capacity to you any given time. Furnaces are a great example since we're just coming out of a heating season. Your furnace, my furnace, I know, I'm tracking my kW. My furnace kicks on and it cycles more than one time in 30 days in a heating season or a heating month. And so what happens is I set that maximum, you'll see that, and it'll stair step across there as it shows you in the diagram online, and it just hits that top one, and it just stays at the top until maybe you hit another one, and then it stair steps up. It's not going to teeter each day and go up and down, up and down, up and down, because honestly, the only one I'm concerned about at my house is the top one that Ozark Electric is going to send me the KW bill for. And so that's not just a one time, you hit it in 15 minutes and you never approached that number again throughout the 30 days. I know at my house, I'm approaching what mine is every day or every time my furnace cycles, I'm approaching that number. And so the capacity is being made available and delivered to you from Ozark Electric. The other question I've had is why, what's one of the drivers for this, and why does capacity matter? Why does demand matter? We're wrapping up. We go through a process to take a look at all 5,000 miles of our line in all 9 counties, from wire size, devices, age of pole, all that stuff, substation voltages and deliveries throughout the lines to reach your house. It's an extensive and exhaustive study that we do to create a long-range plan for the health of our system. And when we do that, and there's recommendations from the consulting firm, from our own engineering staff, from our power supplier, we all meet in a room and decide, okay, let's prioritize what are the things we need to lay out and try to do to increase the capacity or the health and delivery of electricity to our members. And when we do that, we design those things to the maximum and plus. So as we get a number, we get a value that says in this area of our system, we need to be delivering this, we need to do these improvements to get up to this number. We do that plus, because we don't want to turn around and go back into that region and do a conversion from 1-aught wire single phase to 4-aught wire 3-phase, and then have to go back and do it again in a short amount of time. So we don't build and design our improvements to like a minimum or median standard. We go to the top side of that. And that's expensive. It costs money to do that. We're not the only utility that does that. As I say this, if I've got colleagues that are in the municipal world or the investor-owned world, they're nodding their head. They get it because they're doing the same thing. And I don't think that you want us, when we lay out work plans and we go and set about trying to make these improvements across our system, because it's ongoing. It never stops. We never just say, okay, we made it. It's as good as it's going to get. We've captured every coincidental thing that could happen, and we're in good shape, because the system always keeps growing. The system ages and needs replacement with better conductors, stronger poles, better devices. And so that's another reason that, capturing and covering what we do with our finances is important, so that we can build a system that once we do that improvement, we're going to get hopefully decades out of it before another long-range plan says that we need to sweep back around and improve that. The other thing, as far as the financial burden that is running a co-op our size, is that there's 2 ways to fund the co-op. You can fund it through the rates and the membership, or you can fund it through the bank. We have debt here. Some people are surprised that we do, but we're over 85 years old, approaching 90 years old. There are times when, we had great growth, and so you didn't just hammer everybody on the rates. And as our board and myself, as we take a look at the landscape for financing, for interest rates, for availability to do those things, what we'd like to do is be less dependent on borrowing and the banks and more dependent on collection from rates to help fund what we do. And it's a balancing act. We're not trying to zero out borrowing, but we would like to taper that down, and in these next few years, take a look at trying to do that more on what we're collecting through bills and rates versus calling up the banker and asking for an extended loan to get through what we need to do. So those are a couple of the things that, as we made the announcements, I've had phone calls with folks, I've had meetings, I've been in your driveways, I've been on your farms and your properties, I've heard from my own family, my friends, I've heard from folks that I went to school with, and asking about some of these things. So I thought, well, of the top 2 or 3, I would try to share those with you so that you could hear those. We will continue to be a resource. Call in and talk to our folks. We're going to answer questions. I know we will get through it. Every time there's a rate adjustment and movement in any way, I'm the same way. There can be a cause for anxiety. It's unknown until we start into the process. And I know that when, my bills for things that I do for my home, my rates go up, or the services that I pay for go up, I don't like it. I would like for it to stay the same. So I get it. I do. I'm on Ozark Electric too. I'm watching my demand. Jessica and I are trying to figure out the best way to not stack what we do, but kind of spread things out so that we don't spike and hit that peak demand for our home. And so I know we'll get through it. I know that there will be an adjustment period, but financially and fiscally we'll be in a better position going forward. Lastly, I want to point out rural Missouri. This is a plug for them, and I did it this month intentionally because April is the best of Missouri. Best parks, best bakeries, best barbecue, best diners, best cafes, best caves, which Fantastic Caverns, one of our key accounts, made the list. And so I know this is one of the most anticipated issues out of the entire year from rural Missouri. If you're not receiving this from Ozark Electric, I really encourage you to do so. We give an option for you to opt out of receiving it in paper and print, and I appreciate that fully. And some of you are really good at going and collecting and logging on and getting the digital copy and tracking all this stuff. But those of you that want it delivered to your home, this is just a reminder, make sure that you've checked the right box to receive that, because it's a great way to follow us too, because we put our local stuff. We've got local pages in the center that kind of talk more about Ozark Electric and what's going on for us. We also post our annual financials in there for you to take a look at, the audited financials, and we do that prior to our annual meeting so that you as the membership can see what's going on, take a look at that, see how we balance out. And so I know I enjoy this one. I keep it around, and then when I'm traveling throughout the state, it looks like I'm going to hit Macon and hit some barbecue up over there because they've got some in the works. Fulton was in there a couple times too. So check it out as you travel. Hit these places up because these folks really appreciate your patronage, and I'm sure that they'll take care of you because if they make it in here, they're already considered by those in the state as being the best. So I'll talk to you next month. Try to stay dry, and as storms come through, keep yourself safe. Thank you.